Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles, minister hypnotist and the guy who shows you how to get help from the other side, the other side being the mental and spiritual worlds. But you access those worlds through your unconscious mind, which is the greatest goal-achieving mechanism ever evolved. You don't have to stay stuck or ill or be unhappy, because there is a power that can help. Well, today I want to pick up on a theme that you will find in a lot of materials from 12-step movements. The theme is, don't let people live in your head rent-free. Now, what's meant by this is that it is an awful idea to ruminate on the long list of harms and bad things that others have done to you. Now, we all tend to do this, and it's not an accident. Your brain evolved to keep you safe, not to make you happy. The way your brain evolved to keep you safe is to exaggerate your fear, because fear makes a creature cautious. And cautious creatures tend to survive in a way that incautious creatures do not. The biochemistry of your brain is heavily weighted to focus on a negative expectation. And if you don't believe me, here's an experiment. Sit down with a pen and paper and make a list of all the wrongs done to you. Then make a list of all the good things that others have done to you, and you'll discover that you have no trouble making the list of wrongs done to you, because your brain is designed for a negative expectation, and you remember that stuff very, very well. Your list of good things will be much shorter, because the biochemistry of your brain works against storing or recalling that sort of information. All this despite the fact that, in actuality, most people have many more good things in their lives than bad. But your mind evolved to focus on the negative. And because of that, it is natural that your thoughts routinely drift to the people who have done you wrong. And you will keep looping back in your recollections to all of that harm, to all of that cruelty, to all of that disconfirmation, because it's a dirty trick your biochemistry is playing on you. Now, the technical name for this in mental health speak is rumination, going over and over something upsetting in your mind. It can be an event or about something another person did, and that's my focus today. Mark Twain is said to have remarked that holding a grudge is like taking poison yourself and then waiting for your enemy to die. And what he meant by that is that if you hold a grudge, the person you hurt is yourself. You cause all sorts of changes in your body and mind. You see, the primitive parts of your brain cannot tell that what you're upset about is merely a recollection. It will respond as if it was happening now. You will produce the hormone adrenaline, which ordinarily gives you a burst of energy to jump out of the way of danger. But if you're holding a grudge, that energy has nowhere to go, and it just stays inside of you, putting increased wear and tear on your body and your spirit. Your heart rate increases. Another hormone called cortisol is produced too, and this one messes you up for a long time, because cortisol has a half-life of 12 hours, and it takes 5 half-lives. to completely get it out of your system. So 60 hours total. And during that 60 hours, the cortisol changes how your brain works. Energy is diverted from the cortex, or the part of your brain that processes things logically and realistically, and delegated instead to the limbic system, which controls emotion. The result is you stop being reasonable and start becoming emotionally volatile, and that seldom makes anything better. So how does a philosophical person deal with this? First, always remember that you cannot control the behavior of other people. There will always be nasty and vain people out there. There will always be bullies and emotional terrorists. There isn't a thing you can do about that short of moving to a remote location and becoming a recluse. So you have to figure out how to keep the behavior of these people from bothering you. You have to knock the nasty people off the throne of your mind. Don't let them live in your head because of what they did to you, because so long as they are on the throne in your mind, they're messing you up, or the recollection is messing you up. Now, sadly, I think a lot of therapists get this wrong, and that's my purely personal opinion. But a lot of therapists encourage clients to talk about the painful memories and recollections. Now, some of that is needful in order to look for patterns and interpersonal mistakes that you can learn from. But too much of it just keeps those memories alive in a bad way. Therapists who make this blunder are confusing emoting about a problem or a person with doing something about a problem or a person, and they're really quite different. If someone behaved badly or unfairly to you, if someone hurt your feelings, the least effective thing you can do to deal with that is to keep going over it in your mind. Instead, figure out what went wrong. You can learn from that. I have a whole page in my journal dedicated to listing these lessons, and I go over that page regularly, typically at the start of a month when I'm setting my journal up for the upcoming calendar. But that's all I do. I do not relive the experiences from which those lessons are derived. If I find a memory surfacing, I distract myself with something positive. I remember the lesson. I don't remember the pain. Now, to do this most effectively, I practice a technique called thought stopping. It was developed at the University of Chicago School of Psychiatry in 1952, and it's a very simple technique. When you find that you're ruminating on something or someone upsetting, distract yourself with a set ritual. The way I teach this to my clients is to encourage them to imagine a bright, red, shiny stop sign, and then say to themselves silently, stop, 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 over and over again. The idea is to break up the habit of thought and feeling that is at the base of that rumination. Now, counselors often quip that nerve cells that fire together wire together, meaning that if you think of something often, it becomes even easier to think about it the next time. The goal of thought stopping is to break up that process and not let those nerve cells wire together one more time. Now, at first you have to do it a lot, like maybe 100 times, but every time you do it, it gets easier, and the less and less power that rumination has over you. And I'm here to tell you that you do not have to let bad memories persist in your mind. You don't have to let bad people live in your head rent-free. Simply stop them by interrupting the pattern and let those nerve cells quiet down. Typically, after I do a serious piece of thought stopping, I will then sit down and enjoy something that's positive. A story, a video, music, whatever. Always remember, you must take responsibility for protecting your peace. You must protect your mind by making decisions about what you allow your mind to entertain. You can't control what happens to you. You can't control the behavior of nasty people, but you can control, to a substantial degree, how you respond. Notice what happened. Make a note about any lessons that will be useful in the future, and then do not allow yourself to dwell on those events or what those people did. Stop the repeating thoughts. Distract your mind with something positive. Because as far as your mind goes, you are in charge. It belongs to you. You have a right to employ it in a way that serves you well. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. If you're wondering if I could be of help to you, consider working directly with me. We can work in person or online. Feel free to reach out through my website for a complimentary, no-obligation discovery call. And always use the full power of your mind, because you deserve it.